All right, we're back with another pick'em video. It is Saturday, October 25th. I know a lot of people are probably watching college football, but we're gonna be locking in on some basketball in the NBA. We have a 5-game slate, which I kind of think is the sweet spot. Yesterday we had a 12-game slate. The day before that we had like a 2-game slate. But with this 5-game slate, you got enough games to look at, but you also have not too many games to get overwhelmed with. So really locking in the plays that I like today, and gonna take you through my thought process on those. Obviously, like any day, you guys can go ahead and you don't have to take every single play I take. If you like my reasoning and things behind it, go ahead and tail for sure and let me know in the comments down below. And also, if you get this video to 150 likes, I'll go ahead and add another play, a third play or fourth play. I'm not even actually sure how many plays I'm giving out today, but I'll add an extra play in the pinned comment down below. So yeah, go ahead and like the video. We're gonna go to the recap of yesterday's picks, and then we'll get into the ones for today. So quickly hopping into the recap of yesterday's picks, we talked about 5 in the video. You guys crushed the like goal, so I added another one in the pinned comment. That was the Sam Merrill under 6.5 rebounds and assists. He hit that too. So we're 2 for 2 in our pinned comment play. So definitely go ahead and hit that like goal. In terms of the plays we talked about in the video, Jonathan Kuminga ends up with 16 points, only played 24 minutes, and the Warriors got smacked around by the Chauncey Billups-less Blazers. So who knows? Maybe they played with a little chip on their shoulder there, and the Warriors did look like they were on a back-to-back other than maybe Steph Curry. But yeah, Jonathan Kuminga just comes up short. I don't think that was a bad read. He wasn't very aggressive in terms of, actually he was pretty aggressive. He got to the free throw line a whole bunch, but in terms of his shot, just didn't have a lot of time on the floor, and again, they got smacked around there. That goes hand in hand with our money line, which again, I don't typically do, but I thought there was pretty good value there. I'm pretty sure this line got all the way up to like a minus 140, so I think it was a pretty good read overall, but they didn't get it done there, so that was another loss there. Then we had Bam Adebayo. He crushed this line easily. I think he had this in the first half. The Heat were going crazy in that first half. Stephon Castle under 6.5 assists. That was another win on the night. And then Derek White, the Celtics looked horrible against the Knicks, and he ends with 4 assists. This was another one that I think we got plus money on it. It ended up being like a minus 130 play, so another really good read that just comes up short. So 2 of our losses were hooks. This was a 16 point. We needed 17. He needed 5 assists. He had 4, and then the money line loss. So the losses were right there, and the wins were kind of pretty close too, except for Bam Adebayo. So we'll take a little bit of juice off there on the day, but not a horrible day overall. And then that takes us to what? Plus 2.94 units on the entire season. So looking pretty good early on in the NBA season. Again, these are the beginning. You don't really have a lot of data to work off of. So I'm not mad about that at all. We've had some good reads overall, and already up over around 3 units. So let's try to do it today. Again, probably going to talk about 3 picks in this one, and then we will get you guys on your way. So jumping over to Props Madness, this is the tool I use to research a lot of my different plays in the NBA. It gives us a whole bunch of different research. There's a ton of different filters and stuff, and as the season goes on, we're just going to get more and more data for this year and how teams are playing defenses and how certain guys make their shots and get certain rebounds, things like that. It's going to be an awesome tool throughout the whole NBA season. They also do NFL, I haven't mentioned that, but yeah, Props Madness is awesome. If you want to check them out, link in the description down below. Let them know that I sent you there, and you're going to get 25% off your first month. Also, someone asked about RotoWire yesterday. This is where I get all my projected minutes. There's also a link in the description for RotoWire, and the projected minutes are huge when researching plays, specifically for me, but I assume for you guys as well. And I'm going to start with Joel Embiid. Now, this is probably a scary one. Obviously, Joel Embiid is a top-tier talent when healthy. That's the big asterisk here, when healthy. And again, I went to that first game of the season, and he looked like he had concrete feet. He was not moving very well. I think he only played, 20 minutes? Yeah, 20 minutes. He's projected for 24 tonight, but if I'm the 76ers, I see VJ Edgecombe, I see Tyrese Maxey, and I'm like, I'm going to let these guys play fast, whatever it is, and Joel Embiid is not going to be able to keep up with these guys. They're also playing the Hornets, who are a nice young team. They're also going to be playing fast. They got Kalkbrenner as their starting center. He's not very agile, but you got Diabate coming in as the off-the-bench center, and he can be pretty agile. The Celtics also play kind of small. The Hornets are another team that I would say kind of play pretty small, and I don't think that's going to help Joel Embiid stay on the floor very often or so very much in the beginning of the season here. And again, projected for 24, only played 20 against the Celtics in a win. So I think if they're rolling with VJ Edgecombe and Tyrese Maxey, they're going to slow roll Embiid out this season until he's fully ready and fully healthy. And he did not look like that. He looked sluggish. He looked lazy. A whole bunch of things. So long story short, I found this on ESPN bet for minus 120 rebounds and assists. I'm looking at the under here. I do like to see, the Charlotte Hornets have only played 1 game, but both their centers stayed under the line pretty easily. Claxton had an 11.5 rebounds and assist line, very similar to Embiid right here, the exact same. He ended with 6. Day'Ron Sharpe, 9.5. He ended with 4. So I do like to see that. And I don't know if this is going to be a good spot for big centers. Nick Claxton a little bit more agile, but again, Embiid maybe gets played off the floor a little bit more, and they're being very cautious with him anyway. So there's not much I can show you. I can look at all the games the past 2 or 3 years. and just see games he's seeing less than 25 minutes. He has stayed under in 3 of the 4 games, albeit 20 minutes against the Celtics. I think that's more what we're expecting here. I don't think we're expecting 14 minutes. I don't think we're expecting 17 minutes. And 23 minutes he did go over against the Grizzlies. This was probably last year. But I think they're just going to slow roll Embiid. They're going to see what they have with their guards. And 11.5 does seem just a little bit too high to me. Embiid can score very quickly, but I don't know if he's going to be gobbling up rebounds, getting a whole bunch of assists in a game that he's going to be, very much limited. So I'm going to go against the grain here, go under on Joel Embiid. We've only done 3. This will be our 4th under in the season, and we're 2-1 on unders. So seeing the board pretty well on unders, and going to fade the former MVP here because he's not looking like he's in MVP form, and I don't really love this matchup for him. Moving into play number 2 here, and it's going to be my first time going to a rookie this season. It's going to be Kon Knueppel against the 76ers. So we're staying in the same game, and I like this game because, again, I went to the Celtics' first game against the 76ers. I saw the 76ers play, and they played well. They got the very, very active young guards that kept them in the game, came back in that game, won that game. And another thing I saw is they gave up about 1 million wide open threes. The Celtics just could not knock them down. Now, Kon Knueppel coming in as a very, very, I'd say, elite three-point shooter in college, and has 1 game under his belt where he shot really, really well. He shot, 3 of 4 from 3. Didn't get a whole bunch of volume, but shot very well. And then in the preseason, you got to still look at for these, especially these rookies, getting around the same amount of minutes he got in that first game against Brooklyn, and the volume was there. Wasn't knocking him down 100%, but 1 of 5, 3 of 6, got it there, 1 of 7. So even in the game he missed, I like that volume as a 40% shooter to be able to knock down 2 threes. And again, I saw the 76ers give up a whole bunch of threes in that first game. We saw Jaylen Brown. He had 2 threes. That's going to be the comparison here going towards Kon Knueppel in that first game. As we get more and more into the season, we're going to know some more similar players that are getting shots up in similar spots. As a guy like this, there's just limited data right now. But I really like this opportunity. There's not much more I can say. We're getting minus 105 too, so we're not paying much juice at BetMGM right now. I don't mind that. Even up to like 115, I'd probably still play this thing. But yeah, I think a good price at minus 105 for a guy that can definitely shoot the 3. If he can get the volume up, if he shoots 7 threes, which is kind of like where I'm around, 5 to 7 threes, I like his chances of knocking down 2 of them. And again, I just saw so many wide open looks against the 76ers in that first game, so I'm liking to see that. And it kind of goes hand in hand with the Embiid play. If we're getting a whole bunch of 3-pointers launched up by maybe a guy like Kon, but maybe the 76ers maybe the Charlotte Hornets in general, that's going to be a little bit more long rebounds, which Embiid probably wouldn't be able to gather. So kind of correlated here if you think about it that way. But yeah, I like the rookie to be able to knock down some threes tonight. Moving to the third play here, I'm going to go to another under, and it's going to be a guy that's actually questionable. So if he sits, this doesn't hurt us. But if he does play, I think he's going to be a little bit limited here. Chet Holmgren, obviously a big guy, a lengthy guy. They want to be pretty cautious with a dude that's young and probably pretty injury prone, has been injury prone in the past. And he's coming off 2 games that he's played 39 minutes in double overtime and 39 minutes in double overtime. So he's been playing a lot of minutes. Honestly, would not be surprised if he ends up sitting this game, but if he doesn't sit, I think he's going to be a little bit limited. Yes, it is an easier matchup going against the Atlanta Hawks, where they have allowed, this is their shot chart last year. They're a whole different team. I think they have a little bit better defense this year, but they do like to play with a lot of pace. If Chet's in the zone, like we saw him in that first game, he could soar over this line. Again, that was against the Rockets, tougher defense, but then he was, pretty much a no-show, especially in the beginning of that game against the Pacers. So if this doesn't go to double overtime, hopefully you're seeing around more like a 28 to 32 minutes. And in those type of minutes, we can actually adjust this. Let's see, like 27 to 33 minutes. And he's projected for 30 minutes. I just checked right here. He's going to be under this line a whole bunch. Yes, some of these are going to be playoff games, but even dating to the entire year last year, he's under this a lot more often than he is over this. 34% of games last year with this many minutes, he was over this line. So a lot more often he's staying under. And again, the double overtime games is the main thing I'm attacking this. If he goes out and sits, again, that does not hurt us too much. It's an unfortunate one because one of our plays is going to be off the board. But if he goes out there and plays, I think he's going to be a little bit more limited, especially in the minutes department. And if he plays less minutes, it's obviously going to be harder for him to eclipse this 30.5 points, rebounds, and assists line. I'm going to be taking this. Obviously, it gives us all the different books. You want to get the best price like you typically do. Right now, it's on DraftKings around minus 114. I assume it'll be around there unless we get injury news that he's probably not going to play or something like that. But wanted to point this one out. It is an official play because I think it's higher upside for us. If he goes out there and plays, I think he's going to be a little bit limited, especially with the questionable tag, coming off double overtime games back to back. And if he goes out and doesn't play, again, like I said 15 times, it doesn't hurt us. So Chet, taking the under 30.5 points, rebounds, and assists against the Hawks. And then for the final video pick, fourth and final, honestly, I was probably going to give 3, but the questionable tag on Chet Holmgren, I'll add a third play just in case, or fourth play just in case he doesn't play. And I'm going to do Trae Young, so not going to have too much variability in terms of the games. We're only attacking 2 games, but I like the reads here. I don't want to just, I don't want to force something in a different game that I don't like as much as these. So that's what's going to happen for today. But it's going to be Trae Young, and you can see his 3-point lines at 3.5 on a lot of books. You're going to have to pay minus 180 to get the under here. But I just opened up ESPN bet right here, and you can see that he can get, plus 135 on the under 2.5 threes. So that is going to be the official play. I don't know if it's going to be a full 1 unit. I'll figure that out at the recap at the end of the video, so make sure you look at that. It will probably be a 0.5 or a 0.75 unit because we're going for a plus 135 play here. I don't want to hurt my record too much, but I think this is a pretty good opportunity for us. So we're going to knock this down to 2.5 3-pointers, and we can see that so far this season, he's stayed under in both the games. He's shot 1 of 7, he's shot 1 of 6, and I've seen Trae Young go into these games and last year I've actually attacked his over in a lot of games where I'm like, oh, he shot horribly. It's got to come back to back to the mean, back to his normal shooting percentage. And sometimes he's just in a rut, and it seems like that at the beginning of the season so far. They've lost by 20, they won by 20, or they won by 4, and he stayed under both the games. The Magic, very tough defense. The Raptors, not as tough, maybe mediocre defense. And now the Thunder, who are a very, very good defense, but again, they are a little bit banged up here, which is, I think, why we're getting a whole plus money play. This is last year's stats going up against, not Trae Young specifically, but against the league. They run guys off the 3-point line a whole bunch, and they protect the paint. That's why they're such a good defense. If more and more guys sit out, they have a long list of questionable tags. Chet, Case, and Wallace, I hope he plays because I think he's the guy that will see Trae Young a whole lot. Shea obviously will be on Trae a little bit. Lou Dort, obviously a really, really good defender. But we have the main guys out, Caruso and Jalen Williams. I wish they were playing this one. That's obviously going to hurt their defense a little bit, but they have so many different two-way players that can come in, like a guy like Aaron Wiggins, like a guy like what's his name, Case and Wallace. So I hope those guys go out and play, and I think especially Case and Wallace will, and hopefully Chet does too. So I think Trae Young, 2.5 threes for plus 135, looking pretty good. He did play these guys twice last year, stayed under in both the games, shot 2 of 5, shot 2 of 7. And so far this season against the Thunder, teams have, we had Steph Curry go for 6 threes. He shot 6 of 12. That's Steph Curry. But going back to that Lakers game, we saw Luka shoot like 2 for 10. So Luka actually stayed under this line, even though he had a whole bunch of points. And then we had Austin Reeves, who maybe is a little bit more comparable to Trae Young. No one really has played them that's comparable to Trae Young. Smaller guard that can shoot threes, but can also get to the rack and draw some fouls. But Austin Reeves shot 1 of 5. So neither of those guys, the 2 guards on the Lakers, got over their lines, which I like to see. And I think Steph Curry is a little bit more of an anomaly here. So Trae Young, under 2.5 threes, gonna be an official video pick. Probably gonna be 0.5 units, maybe 0.75 units. I'll determine that in a second here when I do the recap. But I think this is pretty good value. Again, you can play the juice at minus 180. I think it's too much juice if you want to take this under 3.5. But I do like the opportunity for some plus 135 action on the under 2.5 threes for Trae. So that's going to do it for the official video picks. I'm going to do a recap in just a second here, but I wanted to point out the fact that Underdog Fantasy, you're going to want to sign up using my code RICHPICKS. Also, just a link in the description down below. If you click it, RP100 I think comes up. That's also my code. But use code RICHPICKS when signing up. Literally free $95 to mess around with. If you play 5, you get $100 in your account. So definitely go ahead and do that. I know some people are like, I'm already on PrizePicks. I don't need Underdog. I'm already on FanDuel. I don't need DraftKings. I don't need Underdog, another book. But you want to be on multiple different books. I know it maybe sounds like a hassle, but realistically, it takes about 2 minutes to sign up, and all of the books give you free money when you sign up. This is legitimately, put $5 in, you get $100 to mess around with. That's a free $95. You definitely want to take advantage of that stuff. And in my Discord community, I send out Underdog plays all the time. They also have boosts like all the time. So like a 30% boost on top of a really good payout. 3-man's payout like 6x. Sometimes we go for like 25x, 30x plays over there, and we've hit a few over the past few weeks. So definitely check it out. I'm giving a free month away in my Discord community. Check out the link in the description down below. No strings attached. This is ending October 28th, so you have a few more days to take advantage of it. You literally just sign up. You get a free month of my Discord where you get all my plays and all the community aspects of it as well. And definitely something to check out. But Underdog, free $95, no brainer. Sign up using code RICHPICKS. So a quick recap of the plays. We talked about 4 of them. Chet Holmgren, questionable tag, but if he does play, I think it's going to bode well for us. And again, Trae Young, if Chet does play, I think that's going to bolster their defense a little bit more. So kind of correlated in these 2 plays. Chet Holmgren under 30.5 PRA. Trae Young under 2.5 threes. That's a plus 135 play. And I am going to drop 0.75 units on it. So not a full unit, but not a half unit, right in the middle there. Everything else is a full unit play. Kon Knueppel, over 1.5 3-pointers made. That's a minus 105 play. And then Joel Embiid under rebounds and assists, 11.5 at minus 120. If this does move, which I think it's going to be all over the place, I could see this going up. I could see this going down. If it goes to 10.5, I just want to mention this. If you want to get plus money at 10.5, I think that could also be an opportunity. But if it's 11.5 around this odds, that's where we want to be attacking it. That's where I locked it in. So that's our 1 unit plays. Again, the Trae Young play on the under 2.5 threes is a 0.75 unit play. And that's going to do it for us in this one. If you get this video to 150 likes, I will go out and add a play in the pinned comment. We're 2 for 2 in pinned comment plays so far this year. So definitely go ahead and do that. I know people are probably watching college football right now, but hopefully there's some NBA fans that are going to enjoy this content. So yeah, there's a bunch of links in the description down below. Again, I just said it, but I'm giving away a free month in my Discord community to anyone that signs up. There is a cap on that, but there's still a bunch of spots left in that to take advantage of that. You just sign up on DubClub, you link your Discord account to your DubClub account, and then you get access. If you have any problems, let me know in the comments down below, or just at me in the Discord community, because there's a free section. If you don't have access to the premium spots, at me in the general chat, and I can hit you up in a DM and get it all straightened out. But yeah, take advantage of that. Take advantage of Underdog. Play 5, get $100, 95 free bucks using code RichPicks. And then go out and check Props Madness out. They're the tool I was using all throughout the video. They're really fun to use. One of the cheapest in the industry. And just as the season goes on, it's going to be more and more powerful. And then lastly, RotoWire was the minutes projection model that I use. There's a link in the description down for that as well. So that's going to do it for me. Thanks for watching. I will see you guys probably tomorrow for Sunday. Let me know if you want some football plays as well. I don't know if I'll make a full video on it, but I will maybe share some over on Twitter. So go follow me on Twitter too. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Enjoy your weekend and hopefully get some winning plays. 3-3 day yesterday. Let's try to capitalize on that. Maybe go more towards the 4-0 video that we had the day before that. Yeah, we'll look for 4-0. That's what we're always looking for. I'll see you guys. Peace out.